Welcome back to the Crypto World channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is still fighting the 21-week moving average. This is really important for all Bitcoin holders out there because while we are still below this level, of course, it is major resistance, but as soon as we break above that level, the price is potentially set to explode to the upside. In this video, I will be sharing my next Bitcoin trade. Also, in just a moment, I'll be going over this indicator, which has just now given us a massive buy signal, and the last time that this indicator showed us a buy signal, we pumped roughly around 120% to the upside before any pullback. And historically speaking, this indicator has been very accurate with its buy signals. So I will be touching on that in just a moment in this video. And in this video, I'll be going over the Bitcoin funding rates because right now they have gone a little bit more positive once again. And I will also be touching on the Fear and Greed Index, which is right now showing a greed signal. So I will be explaining exactly what that means. So especially if you hold Bitcoin, definitely make sure you're watching to the end of this video so that you're not missing out on any of this important information. And if that sounds good to you, just before we jump into it, make sure to leave a like on the video down below. And if you're new to the channel, you might as well subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on for more videos like this one. And I just want to quickly say, I really do appreciate all of the support on the channel at the moment. I can't thank you guys enough. But with that out of the way, let's get straight into what this video is about. So right here, we're on the Bitcoin US dollar chart on the 1-day chart. So this is basically taking a look at everything that's happened over the past couple months just here. And of course, over the past 3 weeks approximately, we have been in a very nice uptrend. We did have that short-term cool off along the way as expected. And right now we are testing a very significant moving average. In fact, we are testing 2 significant moving averages. So this right here is the 21-week moving average. I went into more detail about this moving average in my last 2 Bitcoin videos. So definitely check those Bitcoin videos out on the channel after this one if you missed those. And now just changing the settings for this moving average to the 200-day moving average. As you can see just here, this is also coming in at just about the exact same price. So basically at around 45,000 US dollars is where the 200-day moving average and the 21-week moving average are both coming in at. And once again, historically speaking, those are 2 very significant moving averages for the Bitcoin price. Now quickly switching back to the 21-week moving average to have a quick recap for those that missed my last couple videos. Going back to the second half of 2019, right here when Bitcoin was trading at around 8,000 US dollars approximately, down to roughly around 6,500 US dollars was where we actually bottomed out at these lows. But keep in mind that back then we did have a capitulation to the downside, a lot of sideways price action, and then we had a major pump to the upside right into this exact moving average. And then we saw a major rejection along that moving average because we saw no confirmed break above that moving average just there, only a quick wick. So this is why it is important that we get above this moving average with confirmation. So like a major daily candle close, and preferably if we can get a retest of that level just there, then basically that would be really bullish once again. But if we do not see a break above the 21-week moving average, then we could be in for something similar like what we saw in the end of 2019. You know, we could have a little bit more downside price action just in the short term if we cannot get above that moving average once again. So that is definitely something that I am paying close attention to right now. And in fact, that comes into my next Bitcoin trade that I currently have set up. I am not currently in this trade. This is actually a conditional order for a long position that I've set at just above 46,000 US dollars. So right here, approximately, I've set a conditional long position. So basically, if the Bitcoin price breaks above these areas just here and breaks above 46,000, then that will enter that long position for me automatically. And then I've got the stop loss just back below this moving average at roughly around 44,000 US dollars. In case we do see a fake out, we always want to be protected. And by the way, in a scenario where we see a successful break of this level and that long position gets triggered, my first take profit zone would be coming in at roughly around 51,000 US dollars as my first initial price target for that move. If of course we break that moving average first with confirmation. I want to make that clear. The reason why 51,000 would be one of my initial price targets for Bitcoin is because of 2 major reasons on the Bitcoin chart. First of all, bringing out the Fibonacci retracement tool on the daily charts is here from the all-time high down to the lows of these corrections. Right here, as you can see, we have the 61.8% Fibonacci level coming in at almost exactly 51,000 US dollars. And by the way, that is one of the most important Fibonacci levels on the chart, once again at 51K. And also taking a look at the actual falling wedge pattern that we formed a few days ago now, close to a week ago now, once again. And I was also explaining over the past couple of days on the channel that this pattern could also have potential to play out like a bullish pennant or a bull flag type of pattern. So basically an AB equals CD breakout price target. So we take the AB line just here, the flagpole, and drag it over to the point of the break just here. And the price target just here is coming in at roughly around 52,000 US dollars. So just a little bit higher than that golden pocket area just there. So once again, that is why an initial price target of mine, an initial take profit zone after we break above this level just here, if we can see a confirmed break above the moving average at around 45 to 46,000 at first, then yeah, once again, 51,000 is where I would initially take a bit of profits in that short-term trade. Of course, for my long-term Bitcoin holdings, the Bitcoin that I've accumulated down in these lows just here to hold for the longer term, I'm not selling those for a long time. So once again, that take profit zone just there, that is only if you're in a short-term trade, especially for those using leverage. And by the way, if you're a beginner, I never recommend using leverage because that is actually a very risky strategy. Even though you can make a lot of money using leverage trades, realistically speaking, if you're a beginner, if you're brand new to crypto, you're going to be losing money if you're trying out leverage trading straight away. But for those that want to get started with trading, I do actually have a link to a video in the description down below that takes you to a video that I made roughly around 1 to 2 weeks ago, showing you exactly how to set up a long position, how to set up a short position, how to set up conditional orders, all of that sort of stuff, and exactly what I actually use to trade. Once again, you'll find that video in the description down below, alongside a link to the trading platform that I actually use, which is Bybit. You'll see a link in the description for that, but once again, that is not for the beginners. The best strategy for the beginners, as I always say in these videos, is simply to dollar cost average with a long-term perspective, as in for at least the next 3 to 6 months. But preferably, if you're holding for a few years from now, it is very likely that you're going to do well, even if you're dollar cost averaging at the current prices. And we do actually have another reason on the charts to actually show that this is still a nice area to be dollar cost averaging for the long term. Once again, this indicator is the hash ribbons. This goes off the hash rate for Bitcoin and its moving averages. And so of course, with China placing a ban on Bitcoin mining right back here after that massive capitulation that we saw around 2.5 months ago, that led to a massive capitulation in the Bitcoin hash rate, as you can see just here. And it's only just now, over the past 24 hours, that we have just now seen a massive buy signal flash on this indicator. And this doesn't come too often, by the way. The last time that we saw a blue buy signal flash on this hash ribbons indicator was right back here, just before the break of the previous all-time high, the break above 20,000 US dollars back in the end of 2020. Once again, we saw that buy signal flash right there in the hash ribbons, and that was when Bitcoin was at roughly around 19,000 US dollars, give or take. And if you actually measure out the move from where we actually saw that buy signal just there to the next peak before the next major pullback, that was roughly around a 120, nearly 130% gain before any pullback. And you might be thinking, well, that was just one time. Well, let's take a look at the time before that buy signal. The previous buy signal on this indicator just here was coming in at roughly around 9,000 US dollars per Bitcoin. And it was only about 2 weeks after that we experienced a massive pump in the Bitcoin price, which turned out to be roughly around a 30% pump within about 3 weeks or so, with very limited downside price action in the short term. Once again, taking a look at the buy signal previous to that one, that was at around 9,000. The one before that was at around 6 to 7,000 US dollars during April 2020, after that huge capitulation of March 2020. And yeah, as soon as we saw that buy signal there for Bitcoin in that actual hash rates indicator just here, as you can see, we pretty much immediately pumped to the upside, roughly around 30% in the next 2 weeks. Going back to the time before that, as you can see, we got a buy signal right here in December 2019 when Bitcoin was at roughly around 7,000, give or take. And as soon as we saw that buy signal, we basically had a bullish movement over the next 1.5 months, which was roughly around a 40% pump to the upside over the next 50 days before we saw any bearish price action after that. Going back to the time before that, the last major buy signal that we saw in this hash ribbons indicator was actually at the bottom of the 2018 bear market. If you simply use this hash ribbon indicator to buy Bitcoin, you would have bought Bitcoin at roughly around 3,500 US dollars right before Bitcoin pumped towards around 14,000 US dollars. So that was nearly a 300% gain in roughly around 160 days. And what's crazy about about this buy signal in particular towards the end of 2018 is this hash ribbons indicator actually gave us a capitulation signal 2 weeks before we saw a major capitulation in the Bitcoin price. And the time before the 2018 buy signal just there, the last time before that was all the way back in around September 2016 when Bitcoin was at roughly around 500 to 600 US dollars per Bitcoin, right before we saw this huge bull market throughout 2017. So once again, this hash ribbons indicator, historically speaking, has been very accurate at calling very good buy signals. And right now we have got a massive buy signal on our hands. So this is not just me telling you to buy Bitcoin or me telling you to sell Bitcoin. Once again, this is literally me using the facts and the evidence to actually back up all of these movements. And so that is why I have placed a conditional long position above the resistance just here, because for as long as we can break above the 21-week moving average, once again, I would flip very bullish on Bitcoin. That's really the only major resistance in the short term that we have to be paying attention to, because of course, while we are still below the 21-week moving average, we cannot flip too bullish too soon. We still have to remain somewhat cautious in the short term, because also with the Bitcoin funding rates, the funding rates have now gone a little bit more positive since my last video. In my last Bitcoin video, I was talking about how the funding rates were negative, showing that a lot of people were entering into short positions. But now those negative funding rates, if anything, have flowed over a little bit into Ethereum. So Ethereum's funding rates are now a little bit more negative than they were yesterday, but Bitcoin's funding rates are pretty much neutral at the time of filming this video. So going off the funding rates alone, the sentiment at the moment in the markets is not overly bullish or overly bearish, because they are pretty neutral. Once again, they are pretty close to zero, only slightly positive. But taking a look at the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index right now, this does actually show us a greed signal, which historically means we are due for a little bit of a short-term pullback. Taking a look at the historic values for this Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, as you can see, we were at extreme fear levels for the last couple months when Bitcoin was trading close to 30,000 US dollars. So once again, that was an amazing buy signal for all of us on this channel, as I was covering throughout that time period just there. So right now, the fact that this indicator is sitting at these greed levels does actually show us once again that we are due for at least a little bit of a short-term pullback. But of course, this is just one indicator, and with our analysis, we need to go off multiple indicators, because you should never trust one single indicator. And by the way, the Fear and Greed Index can stay in the greed signal for a long time. Like for example, back here in around the beginning of November 2020, we actually flipped into a greed signal on this indicator, and we stayed greedy all the way up until around the end of January, where we had one little dip into fear and then straight back into greed until the end of February. So once again, we can stay at these more greedy levels on this indicator for quite some time, but it's just something to keep in mind, because once again, this was an indicator that could tell us that we were due for some upside price action when we were sitting at extreme fear levels. So just don't be surprised if we do see a short-term pullback, but honestly, that's most likely what it would mostly be, just a short-term pullback. And if anything, if we do see something like that, I would only be seeing it as a buying opportunity. And by the way, if we do get a rejection from these resistance levels just here, a major level of support that I would be paying attention to is this red zone now, because previously this red zone was massive resistance for Bitcoin. As you can see just here, over the past 2.5 months approximately, we have been fighting this massive range of resistance multiple times and getting multiple rejections. And it's only just over the past few days that we've broken out of this massive range of resistance. And by the way, this range of resistance is coming in at between 40,000 and 42,000 US dollars. So that there in the short term would be a nice little buying opportunity. If we do get rejected at the current levels, I would expect, a decent amount of support coming in at around that price range just there. And by the way, if you're not following me over on Twitter, what are you waiting for? Because throughout the day, I post these extra updates for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and just the crypto market in general. As you can see just here, I post these predictions over on my Twitter in real time as they are happening. So if you want to stay up to date at all times, make sure you check out the Twitter. The link to my Twitter is in the description down below. But anyway, that's just about everything I have to say for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope you got something valuable out of this video. And if you did, make sure to leave a like on the video down below. And if you're new to the channel, you might as well subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on for more videos like this one. As always, I truly do appreciate all of your support on these videos every single day. I can't thank you guys enough. If you have any feedback, questions, or suggestions for me, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. But just be careful in the comment section down below, because there are scammers down there. So if you see any comment or a reply to your comment with like a phone number, an email, a Telegram, WhatsApp, anything like that, even if it looks like it's a comment from me or a reply from me. If it's giving you something like a phone number or WhatsApp, that is not me. That is a scammer trying to copy my profile, because they do actually try and do that now. So please stay extra careful in the comment section down below. Do not share your crypto balances. Do not send crypto to anyone that you find from the comment section. And I just want to make it clear that I'll never ask for your crypto or anything like that. So just stay careful out there, because unfortunately there is a lot of scams at the moment. But anyway, that's just about everything I have to say for this video. Once again, I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next video.